Joining us now for an update on Julian's case and also his health and the broader implications for press freedom is his brother, Gabriel Shipton. We're so grateful for your time today, Gabriel.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, good to see you.
I want to get to the bigger picture about the case, but first I wanted to ask about your brother's health. Let's go ahead and throw this tear sheet up on the screen. We understand he suffered a minor stroke while he was in prison on the day of that hearing. How is he doing right now? How is his health?
Yes, well, he's recovered from the minor stroke and he's now on medication. But I think this is just this is going to kill him, and this is just another sign of pressure. The constant anxiety, the pressure that's upon him is so great, that eventually he will crumble. But at the moment, he's very focused and fighting, appealing this decision, and eager to keep fighting.
So, Gabriel, you were telling us before the segment it was always going to go to the Supreme Court. I don't really understand the British legal system. Could you explain it to our viewers about what's next? It's not necessarily open and shut in terms of an extradition to the United States yet, is it?
Well, so the extradition was approved by the High Court. It went back on an earlier decision by the Magistrates Court to reject the extradition. The extradition was approved based on U.S. assurances that Julian would not be kept in Florida. I think it's a maximum security prison in Colorado. That he would not be held under SAMS, but these come with caveats, so that at any time the director of the CIA may change Julian's situation in U.S. prisons. He may be put under SAMS, or what Daniel Hale is under at the moment, which is Communications Management Unit, which is similar to the ADX Florence, Colorado jail setup. What's one thing about this decision? It was made. One of the judges was the Chief Magistrate of England and Wales, so he's the highest judge in the UK, the highest ranking judge in the UK, who's approved this extradition. So any appeals now to the Supreme Court become very hard, because they'll have to go against the decision of the highest judge in the land. So it's become very real that this case is coming to the US. It can be dropped at any moment. The Biden administration has the opportunity to let this go at any moment, and that's what we're calling for them to do. But yeah, I think now we can no longer rely on the British courts to stop this. They've approved the extradition. The fight has to be made here in the USA to stop this prosecution.
And if the British Supreme Court takes up Julian's case, what will be the substance of the case that Julian's team will make there? I know ultimately the extradition hearings turned around Julian's health and safety. Will that continue to be the thrust of the arguments that are made to the Supreme Court, or will they also turn on the nature of the charges against him?
No, I mean it's going to be based on the assurances. So it'll be the very narrow grounds that they can appeal this decision to the Supreme Court. So none of the substantive, press freedom angles or any of that sort of stuff will come up. It'll be mostly on the the assurances that were given by the US that they could keep Julian safe, which we know is not true. One of the most high-profile prisoners in the UN prison system, Jeffrey Epstein, he couldn't be kept safe. So how can we rely on assurances given by the US? They're not worth the paper they're printed on.
Well, that's certainly something obviously to be considered, and a very good example. I mean, in terms of what will get actually litigated at the British Supreme Court, Gabriel, is it going to be this same consideration of actual conditions in the U.S. prison system, or will any of these substantive matters come to light, or do they only matter here in the United States?
Yeah, it only matters in the United States. They can't, they can't be fought in the Supreme Court. So, and even so, there is even the appeal might even be rejected. So So Julian's appeal might be rejected to the Supreme Court. So it might not even make it there, and he might be extradited, sooner than we think. But yes, none of those substantive press freedom grounds or those First Amendment grounds can be argued in the UK. I mean, the UK has no First Amendment. There are no. It's press freedoms are terrible. They've got. They're not. It's not like the US.
Right.
Yeah, or at least how the U.S. is supposed to be. Speak to those broader concerns. The Obama administration, famously, they wanted to go after your brother, but they couldn't figure out a legal rationale that wouldn't also implicate the New York Times or the Guardian or any other number of mainstream publishing outlets. They couldn't distinguish, so they had to let it go. They launched aggressive surveillance against Julian, but it was only under Trump that they decided to take this extra step to actually prosecute him with major implications for journalists, for publishers, for the First Amendment. Could you just lay out the stakes for our audience, who I think have followed this fairly well, but lay out the stakes as if they haven't been following this along from the beginning?
Well, so since 9/11, the Espionage Act has been, come into use more and more. It's been used mostly against whistleblowers, to prosecute whistleblowers. Daniel Hale, Thomas Drake, people like that. But this is the first time that it's ever been used against a journalist and a publisher. So Julian, he's not a whistleblower. He didn't work for the government or anything like that. He's a publisher. And so this is the first time this broad Espionage Act has been used against a publisher. And it's precisely been used for Julian to be made an example of. Like, this is, if you publish secret information about the US government, about the military-industrial complex, this is what's going to happen to you. So everyone around the world can now see, think twice before, they report on a leak. Well, do I want to do this? Because I could end up, like Julian Assange. And this has a flow-on effect to whistleblowers as well. If you're a whistleblower, if you're working, in one of these organizations and you see something wrong and you think, well, I could report this to a reporter, but will they report it? Will that reporter actually take my leak and publish it? Because at the moment, if they do, they could end up in prison. Mm-hmm. So it's just this sort of compounding effect on transparency and, government things, transparency and government wrongdoing that we just don't know about. So the effects are already here. They're already with us. And I think, you can see that in the amount of leakers that have come out from the security state in the last years. I can't remember any.
Yeah, that's a great point.
That's right.
Gabriel, I know there's a rally plan in New York City where you are today outside the UK consulate. We encourage people to attend there if they support Julian's cause and the cause of press freedom. More generally, what else can people do to help support Julian and press freedom here?
So I've been encouraging people to call their congresspeople, call your representatives, let them know that you care about your right to know, you care about your rights to know what is done with your tax dollars. And as your elected representative, they should be representing your interests. So I've been asking people just to call their congresspeople, call them every day, just keep calling them and telling them that, these threats to press freedom, are not acceptable.
Yeah.
Finally, Gabriel, when will we know whether the British Supreme Court is even going to hear Julian's case? What does the timeline look like from here, to the best of your knowledge?
So Julian has until the 24th of December to submit his appeal, or his lawyers will submit his appeal. Then I imagine, it'll be 6 weeks or so before we know whether the appeal will be approved. And then, I think into the coming year they'll have to set a date. So it could be another 8 months before we see an appeal here. And in that time, Julian will be in the maximum security prison at Belmarsh, where he is a remand prisoner. He's not convicted of anything. He is there at the request of the US DOJ. The US DOJ has requested that he not be given bail. So that's where he is. He'll be rotting in prison until the Supreme Court decides when they're going to hear this next year.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
And the Biden administration could drop this at any time. Gabriel, we're super grateful for your time today, and keep us updated.
Thanks, Gabriel.
No, thank you both. Thank you.
Yeah,
My pleasure.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much for watching. We really appreciate it. We appreciate all the support for you guys out here. I have been reminded we have the ability to do gift subscriptions. We had a couple of people write in. They're like, "Can I do a gift subscription for somebody?" Yeah, I didn't know that either. So I've been reminded. So here is my reminder to you if you would like to purchase for that. By the way, this was suggested by a lifetime member or whatever. If you want to send in the ability in order to do a trial gift subscription, just send in an email. We'll make sure that happens for you. For everybody else, if you could support us, it definitely means the absolute world. It helps our ability. We're building up the show as much as possible. And I got to be honest, Krystal, I think I don't think either of us realized, just 6 months in, we'd be able to have the influence that we have. I mean, the Stephen Donziger thing seems to have, look, we can't speculate, but yeah. I do think that we drew significant amounts of attention, and then you did the live stream here at our set, and the next day, the guy was released. I mean, same on Assange. There have been a lot of cases like this. I can't, go into all the details, but I hear from people who are in power, not necessarily the Congress people themselves, but their staffs who listen to our show and are like, I got this idea for this thing from you. And yeah, it's very edifying, and you guys support our work, our ability to continue to scale that up, especially heading into the midterms. So thank you for all of that. The premium link is down there in the description.
Yep. Love you guys. Have a fantastic day, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Hey guys, thanks so much for watching.
That's right. Just as a reminder, you can become a premium subscriber today. Watch the full show completely uncut, our reactions to each other's monologues. You get to listen to it. You get to ask us questions, all that good stuff. Link is right there in the description or at breakingpoints.com.
Best of all, great way to say screw you to the mainstream media.